Imagine loading a ship worth millions, but one wrong calculation breaks the ship in half. That's why every modern vessel depends on one critical system, the Loadicator. In this video, I will explain everything you need for MEO Class 1, definitions, regulations, types, requirements, testing, exemptions, according to IMO and IACS for your orals. A stability instrument is installed on board to ensure that all stability requirements mentioned in the approved stability booklet are satisfied in any operational loading condition. It consists of both hardware and software and is ship-specific. According to IACS UR S1.1.2, a loading instrument is an instrument which is either analog or digital, by means of which it can be easily and quickly ascertained that, at specified readout points, the still water bending moments, shear forces, and the still water torsional moments and lateral loads, where applicable, in any load or ballast condition will not exceed the specified permissible values. Important: an operational manual is always to be provided for the loading instrument. Single-point loading instruments are not acceptable. Load cells are strain gauges. When stretches, there is change in current, which is read as load. Cabling passes through transverse bulkhead and as close as possible to center, shown in General Arrangement Plan.
There are three types of systems: passive systems with manual input, active systems using sensors, and integrated systems which can control actions, although only the calculation part is covered under the IS code.
Stability software is classified into four types. Type 1, software calculating intact stability only. Type 2, software calculating intact stability and damage stability on basis of a limit curve or previously approved loading conditions. Type 3, software calculating intact stability and damage stability by direct application of pre-programmed damage cases. Type 4, calculates damage stability associated with an actual loading condition and/or actual flooding cases. Bulk carriers. Reference: SOLAS Chapter 12, Regulation 11, Loading Instrument. Requirement: 1. Bulk carriers greater than 150 meters must be fitted with loading instrument capable of calculating shear force and bending moment. 2. Existing ships greater than 150 meters built before July 1, 1999 must comply at the first intermediate or periodical survey after July 1, 1999. 3. Bulk carriers less than 150 meters, built after July 1, 2006, must have Loadicator for intact stability only. Focus: prevent structural failure, avoid cargo misdistribution. MARPOL Annex 1, the IBC code, and the IGC code have been amended by IMO resolutions respectively, and require that new and existing tankers shall be fitted with an approved stability instrument capable of verifying compliance with intact and damage stability requirements. Requirements are applicable to new oil/chemical tankers constructed on or after 1 January 2016 and new gas tankers constructed on or after 1 July 2016. They are also applicable to existing tankers, subject to the following retroactive application schedule. 1. Oil/chemical tankers constructed before 1 January 2016 shall comply at the first scheduled renewal survey of the ship on or after 1 January 2016, but not later than 1 January 2021. 2. Gas tankers constructed before 1 July 2016 shall comply at the first scheduled renewal survey of the ship after 1 July 2016, but not later than 1 July 2021.
Chemical tankers must maintain strict stability margins while handling multiple cargoes, especially during parcel loading operations.
Gas carriers must handle unique challenges like high freeboard and sloshing effects of liquefied gases,
requiring accurate stability monitoring.
Passenger ships must ensure both intact and damaged stability, with modern requirements focusing on safe return to port after flooding incidents.
IAACS categorizes ships into Category 1, which require detailed monitoring, and Category 2, which have simpler loading arrangements. If a Loadicator is not available, alternatives like 1. Pre-calculated loading conditions, fixed route, limited loading cases, all conditions approved in stability booklet. Master must strictly follow. 2. Remote stability verification, real-time communication before sailing. 3. Approved loading range, ship operates within, fixed draft, trim, loading envelope. 4. kg/gm limit curves, for older ships, manual calculation required. 5. Statutory exemptions, ships less than 500 GT, fishing vessels, warships. Intact Stability Code, General Requirements for Loadicator. Must cover all stability requirements. Be approved by administration. Important. Based on approved stability booklet. Not a substitute for loading manual. Ship-specific. After modification. Must be reapproved. Functional requirements. The stability instrument should present relevant parameters of each loading condition in order to assist the master in his judgment on whether the ship is loaded within the approved limits. The following parameters should be presented. Detailed deadweight data items, including center of gravity and free surfaces, if applicable. Trim list. Drought at the drought marks and perpendiculars. Summary of loading condition displacement, YCG, LCG, TCG, VCG, LCB, TCB, LCF, GM, and GML. Table showing the riding lever versus heeling angle, including trim and drought. Down floating angle and corresponding down floating opening. Compliance with stability criteria. Input data, hydrostatic data, displacement, LCB, LCF, VCB, KM and MCT versus draft. Stability data, KN or MS values versus displacement. Compartment data, volume, LCG, VCG, TCG, and FSM/grain healing moments. Output data, hydrostatic data, displacement, draught, trim. Stability data, FSC, GZ values, VCG, GM, limits. Compartment data, calculated volume, LCG, VCG, TCG, and FSM. Loadicator inputs include cargo weight, tank contents, and density, while outputs include GM, draft, trim, and structural stresses. The loading manual provides limits for bending moment and shear force, while the loading instrument ensures these limits are not exceeded. Approved test conditions are used to verify the accuracy of the Loadicator and must include minimum 4 approved test condition, full load, ballast, and partial loading conditions. IACS defines different loading conditions for different ship types, ensuring safety under all operational scenarios. The operation manual must clearly explain system usage, inputs, outputs, and warnings to ensure correct operation. Accuracy is ensured by comparing results with approved data. They are of 2 types. 1. Pre-programmed data system. Input, 0 error. Output, very small difference allowed. 2. Whole model-based system. Compared with stability booklet or approved model. Accuracy checked by independent calculation. The system must be protected against errors, unauthorized changes, and power failures, with alarms for incorrect usage.
Periodical testing is carried out annually and during renewal surveys to ensure the system remains accurate. It is the responsibility of the ship's master to check the accuracy of the stability instrument at each annual survey by applying at least one approved test condition. If an administration's representative is not present for the stability instrument check, a copy of the test condition results obtained by this check should be retained on board as documentation of satisfactory testing for the administration's representative's verification. At each renewal survey, this checking for all approved test loading conditions should be done in the presence of the administration's representative.
According to IACS UR S1.1.2, a loading manual is a document which describes the loading conditions on which the design of the ship has been based, including permissible limits of still water bending moment and shear force, the results of the calculations of still water bending moments, shear forces, and, where applicable, limitations due to torsional and lateral loads, the allowable local loading for the structure, hatch covers, decks, double bottom, etc.
The essential documents on board include 1. Approved stability booklet. 2. Loading manual. 3. Document of approval, Loadicator. 4. Approved test conditions booklet. 5. Operation manual. 6. Software approval certificate. 7. Test records. 8. Stability instrument approval letter.
If you found this useful for your MEO Class 1 preparation, make sure to share and subscribe this channel. I will be covering complete marine engineering concepts in the simplest way. See you in the next video.